Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine, and I just finished watching AMC's The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 6, and this is my review. So what did I think about this episode? Honestly, it was okay. I'm not feeling that whole storyline that the writers are trying to weave together with Abraham and Sasha, because I know how the story goes in the comic book, and to be honest, Sasha deserves better in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think of her. I know a lot of people are just like about her character, but I think that she deserves better, especially after, the whole like suicidal depression story arc that she went through, and then losing Bob, losing her brother, and even losing Noah. She deserves better. And then in the end, Rosita also deserves better, because in the comic book, it's a whole big thing that happens, and it really tears a rift between Rosita and Abraham. Also, I've been paying attention this season, and I did rewatch last season. I don't recall any moment where Rosita and Abraham broke up. So for Abraham to just pop up out of nowhere, even though their surroundings, the surroundings that he was in with Sasha, were very comfortable and cool. Like, for him to just decide, you know what, we're stuck here. You're cute. We could just bump uglies. It's kind of like, what? Like, no, that doesn't make sense. It also didn't make sense how Daryl was so trusting of the blonde-haired guy, the brown-haired girl, and Tina, the girl that needed the insulin. Despite the fact that they tied him up, and then the story basically had him breaking away, which I was like, yes, Daryl can get far away, and then all of a sudden I see the insulin, and I'm just like, damn it, like, come on, come on. And then he goes back to give them the insulin. He takes the blonde-haired guy's gun. Then the next thing you know, he has to protect these people. But Daryl from seasons ago, or even last season, still would have been a bit standoffish. But then I guess, to me, the writers are probably trying to show us that Daryl has changed, has become more tame, and maybe has become a little bit comfortable. I personally don't like it, because I do like my undomesticated, if that's a word, Daryl, nature boy, the redneck. I love Daryl for that. And for the writers to change him like that is kind of like freaking me out a little bit. But then I also didn't like the story arc, which I knew was coming. That's why when Daryl separated from Sasha and Abraham a couple episodes ago, I was like, I don't like this. Something's going to happen to Daryl, or something's going to happen to Abraham and Sasha. But then all of a sudden, Daryl is the one being tied up, like I said. And I guess that's what led into that whole romantic, strange storyline with Abraham and Sasha. Not that I think that either of them having romance is strange. It's just the fact of, like, you put these two random characters together. I don't recall them spending that much time together. Maybe they spent some time off character, like, or off the camera, I should say, because sometimes when I'm watching these shows, or when you're watching these shows, you see the storyline continue to progress even after the season finale, because sometimes the shows will come back with a whole new storyline, and people are like, well, when the hell did this happen? Because this didn't happen in, say, season 3, or with this show in season 5. So I'm wondering, are the writers trying to allude to the fact that Sasha and Abe were kind of like spending a little time together and kind of being a little bit cool together? Because I know there was a scene in episode 1 where Abraham was like drunk and he waved to Sasha, but still, like, I hope we see a little more background on that before they really start pushing towards that storyline. But I will say this, that Abraham and Sasha being together in the scene, talking to one another, and I guess being able to relate on the same, I guess, playing field, because both of them suffered devastating losses, and both of them were kind of like suicidal a little bit, and they were just kind of out of it. And to have those two talking to one another, and I guess trying to, shine a light on the fact that Sasha was depressed. She was a little suicidal. She was a little off, and then she kind of came back, and then Abraham went through what he went through in season 5, and we learned some background on that. And in this episode, Sasha was telling Abraham, like, dude, you can chill out now. You don't have to go out and kill these walkers, because Abraham seriously wanted to kill that dude in the suit, and Sasha was like, no, you don't want to leave breadcrumbs. And you could tell that it kind of bothered him, but I see where she was coming from with that, because if they had killed a walker, then if somebody had come past that area, they'd know that people were there, or they'd hear the sound, or maybe she was just talking about the walkers themselves coming and, you know, trying to say, hey, let me bite you on the arm or the leg. But just to have those two together, and they really could relate to one another, I thought that was cool. Now, as far as that group, that Tina's group thought that Daryl was a part of, I think that those people are a part of the Hilltop community, because if they were saviors, trust and believe, you would know it, because the saviors come into the story and into the comic book in a really big way. They start some mess, and there is no negotiation with them. So I'm thinking that's probably the Hilltop community. Other than that, I like how the story came around full circle, and how Daryl and Tina's group ended up at that oil refinery, I think, and they were looking for somebody named Patty. And then Patty ended up, I guess she was dead, because everybody was a walker there, so clearly somebody got her and they killed her. We didn't get to see Patty, but it's pretty clear that she was gone. And what else? Then we see Daryl later, after the remainder people, the brown-haired girl and the blonde-haired guy from Tina's group, basically robbed him, and they left him there, and they took his crossbow, and they took his motorcycle, which I think Daryl's gonna get that crossbow back pretty soon. I'll laugh if he gets it back from somebody from the Hilltop community or from one of the saviors. That would be funny. But all of a sudden, Daryl stumbles upon that same walker. The one that was lying on the ground was burnt and melted because of Tina's group. So now, at least we've come to the conclusion that Tina's group has been the one going around and burning up these walkers, because I was like, well, who is this? Last season, I'm like, who the heck is doing that? But now we know. But back to Daryl, he basically found that oil truck, and then he was able to go and retrieve Abraham and Sasha, and they decided to head on back to Alexandria. And I thought that that ending was the best part of the episode, when Daryl was talking on that walkie-talkie, because he's been trying to talk on that walkie-talkie or speak on it for the entire episode. Heck, even Sasha was trying to get in contact with Daryl, and she couldn't. And we hear this garbled voice, and I'm like, well, who is that? Who is that? And all of a sudden, the person says, help. And I'm like, that has to be Glenn. That has got to be Glenn. I already told you guys, I didn't believe Glenn was dead. Now we have proof that he is alive, despite all of the spoilers and the speculation. I'm just super happy. I haven't given up. I was not going to give up, and I'm sure you guys didn't give up as well. But alrighty, guys, I think that's about it for this review. Definitely rate this video, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to my brand of crazy, and leave me some comments. Check the links below, but let me know what you thought about this episode, and include anything that I forgot that you think is important. So until next time, I love you guys. Bye, guys. Bye.